For today's beginner's guide, we'll have a look at our first Guardians of the Galaxy character, and he is my favourite out of the four of them. It is the awesome Star-Lord. Now, in the video we'll start off with a general overview. We quickly look at his abilities and his tags. We'll then have a more in-depth look at the abilities. We follow that up by checking out the top 10 team bonuses. We then have a look at synergies. Next up, it's the build options and the ISO 8 you want to run on him. We then check out his alternative costume, and then finally we finish up with some endgame gameplay against Thanos on Ultimate, and I'll just do a quick summary at the end as well there. So we'll jump in and we start off with the overview. Star-Lord's kit then is all based around his elemental guns, and it actually gives him a whole lot of options utility wise. Now when we look at his four abilities, they all have the energy tag, so that's really nice for itemization, but on top of that they actually have the fire, ice and shock attribute as well, and that can make them really fun to play around with, especially when we talk about how the skills can self-synergize, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But that's the abilities and the tags they have. For the hero trait, he actually has two. He has flight, which is a really useful one for just flying past enemies or getting past those pesky red laser beams on some of the stages, and he also is able to add element. He can add all three, so that's the fire, the ice and the shock as well, so that is a whole lot of fun option wise when you can do that. Now when we look at his stats, they are on the lower side, but unlike the hero we looked at previously, Ghost Rider, where his stats and his kit looked to be on the strong side, but personally I didn't find him to be fun to play. Star-Lord's a character where his stats are really weak, but he is actually a lot of fun to play despite that. Now if we just break them down quickly anyway, the strength comes in at a D rating, vitality's way down at an F, so you need to be really careful and keep him at range. Mastery's a D, resilience is a C, durability's a D, and then energy is a B. So his best stat there is the energy, and you do really need that for spamming all the different abilities he has. Now on the subject of abilities, let's check them out. The first ability we look at here is Easy Breezy. This is a starting point for any rotation you have with Star-Lord. The reason being is you'll fire this out, and then the following three skills we're about to look at, they actually all synergize with it as well. So do you want a fire tornado, do you want an electricity tornado, do you want an ice tornado? All those options are available, which is really nice. So let's actually jump in and look at the different abilities that can synergize with this, but as mentioned, you'll want to start off your rotation with this. The first element we look at then that Star-Lord is able to cast is Burning That Up. So this is, of course is for fire. This is the one you'll use if you're looking to do damage. So you can use the skill on its own, or if you fire out Easy Breezy first, you can have a fire tornado, which is pretty awesome. Now on top of this, it actually adds the fire element to your own attack as well. It's for roughly about 6 seconds or so, and also if you're actually able to target the allies in your team, it will add the fire element to them as well. So if you're running, for example, a full Guardians of the Galaxy team, then you would light up Drax's daggers and Gamora's sword as well, which is pretty awesome to see. Unfortunately it doesn't work with Groot, but thankfully it doesn't set Groot on fire or anything like that. But that's Burning It Up. So let's check out the next element he can make use of. The next element we have here is Shock, and this is amped up. So he spins round and he'll fire off bolts of electricity, which has a chance to shock the enemy, and shock appears to be the strongest of the three elements, because when an enemy is paralysed from shock, every hit will be an automatic crit, so damage can really ramp up. Now once again, you can synergize this with Easy Breezy to make a shock tornado, and again it adds the shock element to Star-Lord of course, and it adds it to your allies if they're within the area of effect as well. The final ability and the final element we look at here is Totally Chill. So this adds the ice element. Once again, if you want to have an ice tornado, then cast it after you've cast Easy Breezy, and again it will add the ice element to Star-Lord and also his allies if they're hit with this as well. This is the one I probably use the least, the reason being you can see at the moment when I'm firing it off, all the different bolts of ice that rain down from the sky, they seem a little bit random as to where they actually target. So personally, out of all the ones available, I use amped up the most, but when a boss is staggered, I'll then fall back and I'll start using Burning It Up, but I will use that with Easy Breezy for the Flame Tornado as well. So that's all the abilities, whole lot of fun the way they interact, and I really like what they have done with them. Now the next section we'll look at will be the top 10 team bonuses. When we look at the top team bonus, once again we've got Elektra, Psylocke and Wolverine in there. They're up at 19% you can gain. Now if we were to break that down, it would be 12% strength, 2% mastery, 4% vitality and also 1% energy as well. So the strength really wouldn't benefit Star-Lord, but it would benefit the other characters. And as I always mention within this particular section, if you're a numbers person and you're really OCD about pushing out stats as much as you can, then yes, you can follow this. But personally, I would say run with a team of 4 characters that you enjoy, or if you're a lore person, run with a team that makes sense. Like for Star-Lord, really has to be the full Guardians of the Galaxy team you run them with if you're into the lore. So that's the top 10 team bonuses. Let's now have a look at the synergy options available. Due to being able to harness all 3 elements, Star-Lord actually has a ton of synergy attacks he can do. He's one of the best characters in the game for it. So you can see he's got Whirlwind, Freeze, Shock and Burn. Now all of these can actually proc the same attacks. So you've got Elemental Barrage, Catalyst, Mega Blast, Surge, and I think it's Coalesce. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Whirlwind is slightly different in that you can get Ricochet as well, and Ricochet is a really strong effect. Now if we look at the top 5 characters that he synergizes well with, and all 5 of these can have up to 15 different synergy attacks they can do, which is pretty amazing. You've got Wolverine, Miss Marvel, Luke Cage, Iron Fist and also Drax. If we look at the characters you want to avoid if you're looking to do synergy attacks, I'm starting to notice a trend with these characters. You've got Spider-Man, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, and then Thanos and Scarlet Witch. They always seem to be bottom of the list, those 2 unfortunately. So that's all the synergy attacks. Let's now look at the build options that are available. When it comes to build options for Star-Lord, I would say there's 2 that's available. You've got the pure damage build, and then you've got the crowd control build as well. Now with the pure damage, you would want to place increased crit hit of energy attacks by 11.1% on them. All of these attacks have the energy tag. What you can actually add as well, and it's due to the extremely high uptime you'll have on elements, due to the way you're casting your abilities, you'll almost always have his elemental gun charged with either fire, shock or ice. So what you can place on him is increased crit hit of all ability attribute attacks by 10.3%. In regards to damage, you can go for the one that buffs energy attacks by 19.2, or you can go for the one that buffs the damage of all ability attribute attacks by 20.7. That is the optimal one, but that of course you would need your full uptime on your elements, but you should have it anyway. Finishing up, if you're struggling to find those ISOs, you can use the increased mastery by 13.7, but that's definitely on the lower side compared to some of the other damage numbers we're able to get. Now that's a pure damage build. If you want to go for crowd control, which is a fun one to do as well, you would want to start off, you would replace crit and you would replace it with decrease the number of attacks before inflicting status effects by 34.0%, and that's an orange double A. Now, not really relevant to the burn because it seems to have any really easy chance to apply, but it's relevant to the shock and also the ice, so it'll be happening more often if you do equip this. You can get some damage as well via the damage of energy attacks ISO 19.2, and then again you can use that ability attribute one there, and then finally finishing up with the mastery at 13.7. So that's the build options. Let's have a look at his alternative costume. In order to unlock Star-Lord's alternative costume, you're going to have to beat Thanos one-on-one. I really do wish this particular stage was available for all heroes. I would love to use it as a testing ground, but this one here can be pretty tricky. Your damage will come from your Whirlwind and then following it up with your burn move. And I'll mention the fact that one of the stars you need to get a set amount of ability damage, and it seems that in order to get that you can't use any heavy or light attacks. Everything has to come from your ability attacks, so do just bear that in mind if you're trying to get that particular star. That's his alternative costume there, and again it's just a simple recolour, but I do like the blue look on it, nice little change. So let's just finish off with a quick summary. So Star-Lord for me really has been a bit of a sleeper character. He's one that I got in the start of the game. Of course you start off with him, and I played him and I relatively enjoyed him, but then I dropped him for other characters. But when I went back to him for this beginner's guide, I found that I really did enjoy his playstyle a lot, and adding the elements to characters means he can fit into so many different teams, and the self-buffing of himself with all the different elements is just so much fun to play around with as well. And the tornadoes, yeah, he's just an absolutely awesome character, and I'm going to try and fit him into the core 4 team that I'm looking to run. And that core 4 team hopefully will all have weapons that you can add the elemental effect to, and that means it should be a pretty tasty setup. So that is Star-Lord. Let me know in the comments below which character you would like to see next. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like and share button, leave a comment below because it helps drive engagement, which means YouTube then recommends my videos, which has a bad habit of not actually doing much. And really, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.